Logic, School of Management. It is simple logic.
Welcome to another episode of Logic School of Management presents Business Sense. So it's all about business and the essence thereof. This is an entrepreneurial conversation in these COVID times. My today's guest is GIGI J. KIZHAKKECHETHIPUZHA. So there is a Malayalam word called KIZHAKKECHETHIPUZHA in that. GIGI GIGI JK, we will rather say, and I'll mostly use the word GIGI because it's easier to pronounce and go with. GIGI is an American citizen. He is in the United States of America for the last 25 plus years. He is an IT person. GIGI is a double graduate. He did his graduation in mathematics from Mahatma Gandhi University long back, and thereafter he did his graduation from very famous Drexel University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on information sciences and technology. Okay. After being a technocrat and working for organization, then he decided to go entrepreneurial, and he built up some organization. The main organization that he is now built up and founder and the CEO of that is called Virtina Incorporated. Virtina has an Indian development center which is located in Ernakulam, and he is also having an organization. He is a founder of e-commerce Guru. And GIGI does a lot of volunteering. He goes around schools and colleges and universities like Temple University, etc., where he is an accredited mentor for the youngsters. He is part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem. He is an entrepreneurial technology ecosystem. GIGI is part of Forbes Technology Council. He is a member of Nimble Leader, which is an entrepreneurs organization of technology and technocrats, and does many things. I have a fairly good connection with GIGI because I had been working with him in his organization here, as well as giving some advisory things related to his entrepreneurship. GIGI, welcome to Business Sense.
Thank you, NAIR sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and let us understand as to what is happening in the United States of America and Pennsylvania and Philadelphia in particular in these COVID times. So what's the developments now?
Let me summarize it, right?
Yeah.
America seems to be number one in everything.
Okay.
We don't give up in anything.
Okay.
Right? So I was explaining this to my 15-year-old today.
Okay.
And so in India, there are 1.3 billion people. And in America, there are 330 million people, right? Little over, about 4 times about.
India is about 4 times America. That is right.
Yeah. And if you look at the numbers, in India, correct me if I'm wrong, the people who contracted COVID is about 30,000, right?
Yeah, it's about, now it's about 25, 28, 30,000. Yeah. People.
Yeah, about 30,000.
Yeah.
And the death is about 1,000.
Yeah, right.
In contrast, in America, it's more than 1 million people who has COVID.
Yes.
And about 60,000 death.
I understand. Yes.
Right. And that's a sad situation.
Mm-hmm.
We could have prevented it if India can do it. Such a populous, dense city, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If India could do it, India is just is the size of one of our states, Texas, for example, right?
That's right. Yes.
If India could do it with that kind of infrastructure, why couldn't we do it? Right?
Yeah.
So that is where we stand today. So the other thing that we are worried about, this could be my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
The leadership is still a bit of reckless, right? They're forcing to open a bit early. And when we know that every country that has opened is shutting, there's a second wave. They realize and recognize a second wave and they're shutting it down, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that, we could still do better. So that's not happening. So That's a summary.
You have been a little tongue-in-cheek in saying that America is on the top in COVID numbers too. So it was a little tongue-in-cheek that they had used. At the same time, there had been these questions being asked. In fact, in India, yesterday, our Infosys founder has saying that, okay, you can't, because yesterday, Government of India decided to extend lockdown for another 2 weeks. That means something which was supposed to have opened on 3rd of May, it will now go up to 17th and 18th of May to open up. So Mr. Narayan-Murthy, who is a founder and very, very revered IT and technocrat industrialist in India, he said, this is now getting too much. He says, I think we need to open up. And if you're going to extend it like this, our business will collapse. Now, the question here is whether you are trying to save lives or whether you're trying to have livelihood. Because if you're only saving lives, he says, or even Mr. Donald Trump says, if you're only looking at the lives, your livelihood will be affected. And as far as United States of America is concerned, as you rightly said, though it was tongue-in-cheek in case of COVID, you have been on the top of everything, whether it is business, whether it is commerce, whether it is imports, whether it is exports, whether it is technology, whether it is democracy, and many things, America had been on the top. So now, for a country like America, now there is a possibility of some of the nations in the world going to usurp America on that position, and this is going to be such a very unfathomable situation as far as US is concerned. So, I mean, I'm not trying to justify your leadership, or neither I am trying to justify those industrial people who are trying to say, yes, hey, let's open up because otherwise our livelihood will be affected. But there is a balance, something that has to be seen. I think at the same time, simply by drinking Lysol, you can't save. You definitely cannot save a patient. I think that's and funnily, I saw this on the Times front page cover. Which is quite funny. Anyway, that's not our subject of discussion. But anyway, you have given us a fairly tongue-in-cheek answer. Thank you very much for that. Now, second part of that is, I'm sure this must have really resulted in many businesses, including IT, being affected. How is the IT companies taking it in America? Because why I'm asking this case is, unlike other organizations, IT companies can actually ask the employees to work at home and get things done. Okay, it may not give 100% productivity, but 85-90% productivity is still possible by letting the employees remote working, distance working, or let's say gig platforms, etc., using that they could do it. So how is the IT companies taking it? Are they also feeling the pinch, or are they in full bloom as far as work is concerned?
Again, I'm going to give the consultant's answer. It depends, right? IT is such a vast area, right? If you are a hospital IT or a healthcare IT, you're very busy, right? You're busier than ever, right? But if you worked for a non-essential big enterprise, right, selling non-essential in that supply chain, somewhere in the supply chain, you are not busy. If you work for airlines, your days are already numbered.
That's right.
So it truly depends upon what type of IT, where are you working, which industry you are working in.
Yeah. Let me ask, okay, maybe I may go a little specific. Let's say you are on this side of America, and I'm referring to what's in California and things like that. What do you think Facebook employees and Apple employees and Hewlett-Packard employees and Oracle employees, etc. Most of them are Google employees, of course. If I don't take Google, that is a sin. Google employees, etc. I heard all of them are working out of home. So that way, maybe the productivity may not be 100%, but many of the IT companies have not closed down, in a way.
Yeah, they are not. So if you look at Facebook, right, or Google, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that they are busier than before.
Yeah.
Right, because part of it is a product-based development. Part of it is taking care of the current infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
Take AWS, right? And these folks, I don't know the exact number. I read that Facebook has much more traffic than before. People are Facebooking all the time now.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
So, I was told in India one of the highest used platform is TikTok, Gigi.
Yeah. That's right, and here also it is getting pervasive, right, among youngsters, right?
Yeah.
And recently, I interviewed a similar podcast. I interviewed somebody who has about 2 million followers
Yeah.
Mayan Gordon. And TikTok, now, TikTok was going in a direction to take over Facebook and the rest of the world, social media. Now, about 3 weeks back, something came out. FBI, Federal, American investigation, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and they were flagging TikTok. Do not use TikTok. For other security reasons.
All right.
So I haven't heard anything from that since then, but there is a concern around anything. This is important. There's a concern on anything from China now, especially around the technology.
But Gigi, if you look at it, we are currently conversing in a platform called Zoom. There had been umpteen number of questions being raised about the veracity as well as the not sustainability, because of the challenges, cyber challenges in Zoom. And many number of cases, there had been hacking and things like that happened. But Zoom today had completely taken over this online communication, interview, seminar, webinar, discussion, board of director meeting. Everything has been taken over by Zoom. So that way, if you look at it, something like Zoom, which is again thriving in spite of the challenges that you have mentioned about cyber difficulties. Actually,
true. But if you think about it, there was, relatively speaking, right? There was no other alternative.
Right.
Relatively speaking, GoToMeeting, so hard to use, right?
Yes.
But if you watch the news today, Google made their Google Meet free yesterday or today.
Okay.
And Facebook and Google is hitting that space really hard. There was another player called Blue Jeans.
Okay.
And Blue Jeans was acquired very recently, maybe this week, by Verizon.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot of competition is heating up in that space.
Yeah, because this has become a new normal. Have you seen? Yeah. You have seen that online learning, online communications, online meetings are going to be a new normal, which your social distancing concerns are also being taken care of in this new normal. The very fact that, though we are distant by about 13-14 hour time lag between each other, we are able to communicate as if it's regular. As far as this interview itself is a prime example. Okay, let me come to electronic commerce. That is something which you hold very dear, actually.
Yeah.
Now I realize that it is one of these difficult times that particularly in China. Some 20 years back, SARS came into being, which is Corona's elder brother. Corona's brother was acquired respiratory difficulty, that is respiratory syndrome. And I am told by one of those consultants whom I have interviewed from EY that in fact Alibaba came into prominence along with SARS time, because that created a difficulty and people surmounted the difficulty by going online. So Alibaba today is practically up there, very much up there as a e-commerce platform, of course B2B. And similarly, we also had seen Amazons of the world, and in India we have companies like Flipkart and Snapdeals of the world, etc. Now ruling the roost and doing trillions of dollars of worth business that's happening across. To the extent, they have such technology that they use to understand the buyer's mind and buyer's buying philosophy, that they can really psych a buyer into buying things as far as big companies like Amazon, etc. is concerned. Now, I think e-commerce has come, e-commerce has stabilized, it is here to stay. What is your take on this, Gigi? Because you hold e-commerce very dear, and it's a technology that you today, both your bread and butter that comes from electronic commerce. So would you be able to give me some take on the relevance and importance of e-commerce that is happening in our times?
This is my favorite topic, right? So let's start pre-COVID, right? Yeah. Before COVID, let's say BC, right? Yeah, BC. So I think it's AC and BC. It's not ADCC. Right. Yeah. Before COVID and after COVID.
That is right.
Before COVID, if you look at e-commerce, e-commerce is divided into two buckets: business to consumer and B2B.
Yeah.
Right. And B2C was about $600 billion in America.
Right.
Okay. And we're steadily growing. But B2B was estimated to be about 14.3 trillion, which is about 30 times bigger.
Huge, actually.
Than B2C.
Yes.
Okay. And here is the kicker. Out of the 14 some trillion dollars, about 50% of that B2B was still being done on phone, face-to-face, and fax.
Okay.
Right. As a matter of fact, if you talk, many of the manufacturers, they would say, how do you get leads? Trade shows, right? Calling, phone calls, and trade shows, right?
Yeah.
And now, and then there was the data. There are two companies who did the study. They said, that's 7.3 trillion, which represent about 63% of the manufacturers and about 32% of the wholesaler distributors.
Okay.
Didn't have who conducted this offline transactions, didn't have a good e-commerce site. Okay. Or no e-commerce site at all. Now, two companies predicted that about 75 to 83% of them is going to have an e-commerce site in about 24 months. This is before COVID. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we are living in a new reality.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And things are not normal yet. And I would say, when a research online says, it should be about 12 to 18 months. It should be completely normal, get back to completely normal.
Yeah, the vaccine and thereafter.
Right. And as we get normal, one of the things that's going to happen is that people will learn to, businesses will learn to live in the digital space.
Okay.
B2B. So that means more e-commerce will play such an important role in our lives as we move forward, right? And there are many industries. And what's going to happen is there are many industries in B2B also applying disintermediation also. Cut that middleman. Let me go to consumers directly. That's also happening.
Yeah.
Now, here is the most important challenge. How do you deliver, right? How are you going to deliver this when a pandemic like this happens? That's going to be the key.
Yes.
And I haven't seen much article or a research or noise on drones, right? And why? I'm just curious that why the industry, why the technology innovators are looking more and more into drones. That's a little bit of things to be a topic needs to be explored, because that delivery, the true contactless delivery without human beings, right, involved. So the last mile delivery, that's going to be such an important role. E-commerce getting so pervasive in our lives going forward, and it will.
But see, I'm double guessing here, because drone as a technology, while it has a lot of importance and relevance as far as delivery and last mile connectivity is concerned, but drone as a technology also has its heavy security attached to that. See, the faith-wise directly you can see that drone could deliver it directly, but the same drone can come and drop a bomb in front of your house and go. So now, which drone comes with the electronic commerce delivery and which drone comes with the bomb is a question to be seen. So how do we actually? So these are things for the common man. It could be taken care. You're a technocrat, but then these may be the doubts. And I'm also seeing here. You just look across the world. People who are operating drones or people who are having drones technology, the government is having a lot of restrictions on them, isn't it?
Yeah, that's with any technology, right? With any technology, there is resistance, some form of another. There will be resistance, right?
Okay.
When we were traveling using horse cart, right? When the car came, people said, when computers came, right? Some form of resistance will be there. But if you fast forward our lives, 30, 40 years back, 30 years forward, these are going to be inevitable technology. You cannot stop them, right? We will figure out ways to if somebody wants to bomb my home, they can deliver a package and then put in front of my front door.
Yeah, a courier can deliver it actually.
A courier can deliver it. So, you don't have to fly. We don't have to fly over the air. Spend that much, And as a matter of fact, it was very interesting to see this. My cousin has a hypermarket in Changanasheri, right?
Okay.
And I don't know whether you noticed this or recently, somebody about about 2 miles, about 5 kilometers away, right? He flew a drone to buy 250 grams of shrimp.
Okay. Oh,
I don't know whether you saw the video from Kerala.
No, I haven't seen that, but I've heard this actually. Yes.
Yeah. So I think what I think is more than this security, security protocols and those things. You can buy. You can buy cell phone jammers.
Yeah.
And whatever the frequency you're transmitting, there may be some technology that you can use to control that. Don't go above X 100 feet. Something like that. I think more than the security concerns, the technology itself is not matured enough, right? The longevity of the battery, etc. Those are the kind of more important.
Understand, but I'm sure.
Feasible.
Right. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Is it economically feasible to operate? Those are the things I think that's preventing us.
I think delivery through drone and drone becoming integral part of the e-commerce, etc., is definitely to happen. And as you rightly said, everything is going to shift, particularly the B2B, which is big in number and $1 trillion business that will shift. And COVID actually will act as a COVID or coronavirus will act as a catalyst in letting this happen faster. I totally accept. Now, another area which again on e-commerce that I come to is that companies and organizations in the years thought that if I have a website which is a brochureware or a simple information site, I can just add an e-commerce, just plug it. They thought, I am now e-commerce ready, but then that flopped in many number of cases. That did not work. So now companies and commerces and organizations are thinking that, okay, you have to go dedicated. There are so much of technologies and there are so many variants to that. And for different aspects of e-commerce, there are different technologies that has to be used, etc. It is where I had seen that you've always been using this word called engineered e-commerce. So what do you mean by engineered e-commerce, Gigi?
Yeah, well, good question. This is one of my favorite topic, right? Let's start with that failure rate. Let's start there. Then I will walk you through what is the true purpose of e-commerce, right?
Yeah.
Then you will start seeing. So if you just Google it right now, right, e-commerce project failure rate, you will see that 80 to 97% of e-commerce projects fail.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
Right? That's big number. Across B2B and B2C.
Okay.
If you dig a little more deeper, you will see that 95% of the B2B projects fail. Now, there is I'm bringing that B2B and B2C perspective. There's a reason for it. Because in B2C, you could argue that in B2C, there's a lot of e-commerce entrepreneurs comes and goes. I would say it's like a mushroom in the fresh rain. Right?
Okay.
And you could argue that that's the high failure rate. Now, my question is, a B2B e-commerce is not like you cannot start like that. It takes a little more planning, right? It's a little more complex. So even that is a 95% of the failure rate.
Okay.
Why is that? Right? So there's some other reason. So you just mentioned, you start by saying that, I have an e-commerce site. And why can't I just add a cart to it? And I have a website. Why can't I just add to it? We call it JAW.
Yeah.
The JAW syndrome.
Yes.
JAW, just another website. Okay. Right. And today, if you think about e-commerce, if done correctly, it can become the central hub for your digital business.
Understand.
Right.
Yeah.
And here is the most important thing. And I'm going to continue that sentence. That is most closest to your revenue. That's most closest to your customer experience, user experience.
Okay.
How can you take that lightly?
Okay.
Right? And then so think about this. That's most closest to your revenue, most closest to your user experience, and it is connected to almost every other business, every other system, right? It is connected to that. Your sales, your ERP, your accounting system, your inventory management, your warehouses, all of that, right? Now you see the complexity of it, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now, here is what is happening. There is a problem in the marketplace.
Okay.
What I call is a blind leading blind problem. Right. So imagine you are running a $10 million manufacturing company.
Yes.
Okay. And you just got hired into that company, and your boss came to you and said, Mr. Nair, I want you to start a project. The e-commerce is booming. Our competition is killing us. Let us get online. Okay. And I'm not going to define what your title is yet. So you have this megaphone, you go into the downtown, and you're announcing that, hey guys, I want to build an e-commerce site. Raise your hands. Now there are 20 hands comes up. I'm going to give you 3 questions to ask. First, how many of you has more experience in more than 2 e-commerce platforms? Keep your hands raised. I would say about 70% will go down. Okay. The next question, what percentage of your revenue comes from e-commerce build versus marketing? Okay. Another 20 will go down. Okay. Right? Now the third question, what percentage of your resources are an e-commerce designer, developer versus marketing? Yes. And I would say a good chunk will go down. Right? Okay. Now, so what I'm trying to say is, most of the project today being done is done by a digital marketing agency. Yes. And I love them because we work with a lot of digital marketing agencies. Okay. Yes, it is. So that is one part. Now I'm going to define who you are. Your title says somebody, a VP of marketing, digital marketing, or a marketing lead. Your title is 90% of the time, your title is likely to have marketing in it, right? Yeah, so what that means is 2 experts in marketing trying to solve a user-centered complex software engineering problem. Which is technology. Yeah. It is a user-centered technology, right? Yes. It's not just technology. So how can that not go wrong? And you have to have an engineering approach, a methodological, systematic approach in understanding, figuring out, in strategizing, right? Then scoping it out, and then building, delivering, and supporting, right? I mean, the other way of looking at it is like this. Let's say you are going to Formula 1 race, okay? You are going to race in the Formula 1 race. Okay. You have plenty of money. And somebody recommended this team is the best pit crew out there. Okay. And you sign the contract. But if your car is a 1960 Chevy, right? Yeah, you wouldn't be able to. Yes. You wouldn't be able to run. So you have to build that engine correctly. It has to be meticulously engineered. That engine has to be meticulously engineered to have the pit crew come and help you win the race. So that's an engineering mentality. Right, Gigi, you have really nailed it by going and explaining as to why engineered e-commerce is important, and why is it important for the thought to come in. So it's not only a marketing guy's game, it is also the game of marketing and technology to combine, and also to see that the pertinent questions are being asked. Actually, I really did not know the time. Generally flew like this. We are already 30 minutes up as far as our conversation is concerned. I thought we were talking only for the last 5 minutes. So I have 2 questions. One question, see, there are multiple plethora of e-commerce platforms available. There is Magento, there is Shopify, there is Volution, there is free software, open software, etc. So the people are confused as to what is to be used. At the other end, there are big names like the Amazons of the world and the Flipkarts of the world. They engineer their own e-commerce. They may not be using this platform. So how does, very briefly, will you say, how does one select an e-commerce platform in case you want to go for? That's not an easy answer, sir. We track about 17 different variables. Okay. Flexibility of the platform, scalability, right? Security, even your patience level.
Yes.
Your employees' patience level. Who is going to operate the site? Even that matters.
Okay.
Right. Initial cost versus recurring cost. How much of a control that you want to have on your data and your processes, right? So all that's is to be taken into consideration in figuring out what's the right platform is. That's one. Second, you touched upon this. Should I go for Amazon? Should I go for Flipkart, or should I have our own e-commerce site? Right.
Yeah.
That's an important decision. Now, here is the thing. If you are going to be in the e-commerce, Amazons and Flipkarts of the world is a good start.
Yeah.
But you cannot, time and time after again, and it has proven that you cannot rely on these marketplaces alone.
Yeah.
Right? It's a good stepping stone, but that's not the final. Simply because you have to. What users want is that unique user experience.
Okay.
Right? And if you go to Amazon, your brand becomes run of the mill.
Yeah.
Right? And they are in the business of making money. The way they make money is pushing your cost down, pushing your profit margin down.
Naturally.
So it's a good way to get your name out. But once the name is out, you have to get out. Or you have to be more focused on your own site more.
With your experience of helping many organizations, particularly in the SMB space in the United States, into e-commerce bandwagon, what do you think? Are organizations now coming up to join the fray, or there are apprehensions and uncertainties even today?
There are uncertainties even today. There are a lot of we double our leads without increasing our marketing, right? Yeah. And that means, but our closure ratio tend to be the same, right? What that means is there's a lot of window shopping. There's a lot of preparation is going on, but people are kind of not ready to take a decision yet.
COVID could be a good catalyst for them to take a decision.
Which industry?
COVID. I'm saying that the current challenges that we have could really push them into taking decisions going online.
True. It could be. What I'm talking about is right now at this present moment, right?
Yeah.
People are thinking about e-commerce, but they are not ready to take the decision yet. Right now, right? And as we open, as the green light starts showing, as the yellow lights, we start seeing the yellow light and green light, the floodgates of e-commerce will open.
That is going to make you very busy, and the organization also very busy, Gigi, to prepare people moving into the electronic commerce space. Last, a very brief answer. So, what do you think the future is going to be, Gigi?
Interesting. So, I'm going to borrow something I read today, right? I think this was McKinsey.
Yeah.
What they said is, we as nations going into a culture of distancing ourselves.
Okay.
Right? And self-reliance, nationalism, self-reliance, and distancing. And COVID just simply expedited it.
I understand. Okay.
Right?
So that's going to be a problem.
Here is the thing. I have a slightly different take on it.
Okay.
We as a human being, we are really good in forgetting.
Okay. Yes. So
right?
We will want to forget it.
Yeah, 1918 happened. Spanish flu happened. Did anybody remember what was the, you mentioned, right? 500,000.
It killed about 5 crore people.
Large number of people
50
died.
million people. 50 million
people died, right? And do we, what impact that had, what negative impact that had as we stand today?
Yeah, I understand.
We only went forward, right? So we will move forward.
Gigi, it has indeed been a great pleasure talking to you. I really speaking, I did not realize time flying. And for you, it is a night time, and for me, it's an early morning time. So we're almost at the two ends of the spectrum. But then you have, though in spite of the fact that it is too late for you there, you have been able to answer the questions with a lot of clarity and also with a lot of enthusiasm. I hope the types of you will increase. And as you rightly said, your concept of engineered e-commerce will be adopted by people, and also your last mile connectivity problems will get resolved for organization to think in terms of going into e-commerce in a big way. I wish you all the very best, and we'll continue to meet and discuss.
National, it's always a pleasure speaking with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, what we will do as one of those new normals, we'll say the COVID times, we'll say Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you very much. Yes, take care.
Thank you.